What's going on, guys? Krusty K's here from the Gold Boys Network, coming to you with the MLB slate preview for September 20th. Before we hop into this, I want to remind you guys all you can get all these odds at FanDuel Sportsbook. Let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right into this slate. So the first one, the Nats taking on the Cubs. Trevor Williams versus Jameson Taillon. And for me here, this isn't exactly like the best game in the world. You got two teams, I don't want to say playing for nothing just yet, because the Cubs are technically still in it, but basically out of it. Two teams playing for nothing, so it's one of those things where it's tough to kind of figure out who's motivated, who's not. For me here, though, I do like the Cubs. Minus 180 on the money line is definitely a tough grab. So we'll give the Cubs money line. Obviously parlay with something else, but it's just where I'm going here. Trevor Williams hasn't pitched in, probably 2 months now, and I think there's gonna be some rust. I don't expect him to go very long in this. Like the Nats long relief type guys are just not good. So give me the Cubs here on the money line. Our next one, the Pittsburgh Pirates taking on the Cincinnati Reds. Mitch Keller versus Nick Martinez. So for me here, I like the Pirates. I like Mitch Keller. I think he pitches really well against this Reds lineup, who we've attacked a few times here. They've just been super inconsistent at the plate, and it feels like a spot where Mitch Keller can kind of just take advantage of that. Nick Martinez, obviously, kind of a MLB journeyman, more or less, long relief / spot start guy. I do think he pitches relatively well here. The Pirates not really hitting well either, but ultimately just think Mitch Keller outpitches him here and gets his team a win. Give me the Pirates on the money line. Our next one, the Toronto Blue Jays taking on Tampa Bay Rays. Jose Barrios, and currently the Rays have got to announce a starter. It's not going to matter for me. I like the Jays here. I love backing Barrios. Talk about it all the time. He's going to face the Tampa Bay team, who just lineup stinks, not really playing. Definitely not playing for anything, but lineup is just not good. It's the lineup striking out a ton. I think Barrios could probably get his strikeouts here. But just like Toronto to ultimately pick up the win behind Barrios, I think he pitches really well in the spot, regardless of who's on the mound for Tampa. Our next one, the Detroit Tigers taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Kiter Montero versus Corbin Burnes. This is a great matchup here. You got the Tigers, who are officially tied for the last wild card spot. The Orioles, I believe, outside looking in. And for me here, it's a must win for both teams. It's a tough game, man. For me here, I like the under. That's where I'm going. I like the under. I think you have two teams. Like I said, this is gonna be a playoff style game. It's a must win for both teams, and I think pitching has the advantage. Baltimore's been pretty streaky at the plate as of late. Tigers kind of swinging it, but Corbin Burnes is the guy who, in my opinion, can slow them down. So give me the under. We don't have a line for this game, oddly enough. I imagine it seems like a 7.5, but I will take the under 7.5 here. Our next one, the Atlanta Braves taking on the Miami Marlins. Charlie Morton versus Valente Beloso. It's going to be the Braves here. I'll go with the minus 1.5 just to get some better odds for us here. But I really like the Braves. They're playing the Marlins, who have been absolutely terrible. We all know that. And this is just a spot where the Braves, they need to win. Right now, they're not in the playoffs. Every game is essentially a must-win at this point for them. So I like their bats. They're starting to wake up, and we saw in the Red Series they were absolutely mashing. I think that continues here. This team's getting hot at the right time, so let's take advantage of it, and let's back this team to put up some runs and get another big win for them here. Our next one, the Minnesota Twins taking on the Boston Red Sox. David Festa versus Richard Fitz. This is a pretty gross one. I like the Twins because I think it means more to them. They're definitely playing for something here, whereas Boston, they're kind of just out of it. Minnesota is, I believe they're tied with the Tigers for the last wildcard spot, if I'm not mistaken. So this is a big game. I don't think Festa necessarily pitches long. It's definitely one of those things where, if he's pitching well, stay in the game. If he starts to struggle, he's going to come out. So I'll be curious to see if we get an outs line for him, because if we do, I would think like 15.5, anything beyond 5 innings, I would think an under would definitely be more than in play, because I have a hard time seeing him going past 5 innings here, just given the magnitude of these games for the Twins down the stretch. Our next one, the Philadelphia Phillies taking on New York Mets. Christopher Sanchez versus David Peterson. I like the Phillies. So Dave Pearson's pitching really well for this Mets team. I'm not going to say he hasn't been. Christopher Sanchez, though, probably one of the most consistent starters outside of the obvious for the Phillies. This just feels like a spot where he goes out and gives them another quality 6. I like the way the Phillies bats are swinging right now. I think they can get to Peterson. So this game being at a pick'em, that's more than fine with me. I will take the Phillies on the money line here. I believe they get this one done. Hey guys, I just want to give a quick reminder that new users can bet $5 at FanDuel on any of the bets in this video and win $150 in bonus bets if the bet wins. Now let's get back to the bets. Our next one, the Seattle Mariners taking on the Texas Rangers. George Kirby versus Jacob deGrom. So, I mean, deGrom just saw this Mariners team. He's seeing him again in his second start. Obviously, still going to be quite limited. I'm going to go with a pretty similar angle to what I was looking at the last time he pitched. We're going to go with the Texas Rangers. The first 3 innings, it's F3 money line. We're going to take on the F3 money line. So, basically, I know deGrom's going to pitch 3 innings. If he goes more than that, that's fine. But I just care about the first 3 innings. So, I mean, it could be 0-0. We end up getting a push and just getting our money back. But I think Kirby on the road, especially, I think he can give up at least 1 run for us to get this thing across the finish line. So, give me the Texas Rangers F3 money line. Our next one, the Los Angeles Angels taking on the Houston Astros. Tyler Anderson versus Justin Verlander. I have a hard time backing Verlander here, so I'm actually going to go with the over. It's disgusting because this Angels team stinks, but I think Verlander can give a few runs for us, and I think Tyler Anderson definitely gives up some runs. So total sitting at 8.5. I like these offenses to get it going. Obviously, like I said, the Angels, it's not a fun offense to back. If you look at the metrics, you're like, what the hell are you thinking? But it's more of just a faded Justin Verlander, truthfully. Stuff hasn't been good this season. It's not going to change. It's not going to magically get better. This Angels team, that majority of them are not hitting. But they have a few guys in Shanuel, Taylor Ward, Zach Neto. They have a few guys who can do some damage. So a few guys who can at least get us a couple runs to carry us for this total. But I do think this thing goes over 8.5. The next game here, the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. Zach Gallen versus Colin Rhea. It's the Brewers for me here. And I love backing the Diamondbacks. But with Zach Gallen on the mound, in particular on the road against team you just saw, I have no choice but to fade him. I think he gets touched up here. I like Milwaukee to pick up the win. Obviously, they did just clinch, so I mean, they're not necessarily playing for anything, but obviously you're not trying to, go into the playoffs flat-footed either. So I like them to pick up a win here. Our next one, the San Francisco Giants taking on the Kansas City Royals. Mason Black versus Michael Wacha. I mean, it's a Kansas City Royals money line spot for me. It's juicy, so obviously I'd probably pair it with the Cubs, truthfully. But just a good spot for Wacha to pitch really well. Sinker changeup, one of my favorite mixes to back. I love that mix. It plays really well against a lot of teams. And the Giants are no different. This team's going to play really well against. So I think Wacha pitches deep into this game. Mason Black is a guy who's been up and down from the minors to the bigs. He's struggled, and now you're going to face a Royals team who, despite being kind of cold right now, I think they could do some real damage against this kid. So give me the Royals here on the money line. Like I said, I'd probably pair it with the Cubs. Our next one, the Cleveland Guardians taking on the Cardinals. Ben Lively versus Kyle Gibson. I am all over the Guardians here. This is a team, yes, they clinched. Yes, they're necessarily not playing for anything, but I just love their lineup against Kyle Gibson. I think Ben Lively should be able to take advantage of a Cardinals lineup who's really struggled for much of the season. Ben Lively, been a great ad for this Cleveland Guardians team. You cannot deny that. Their bullpen's outstanding. I mentioned it in the last video. 4 guys with sub-2 ERAs. It's absolutely incredible. So I just love this Guardians pitching staff, and I love them to pick up the win here on the road.
Wait, before we get back to the picks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. Friends don't let friends watch videos without hitting the like button. So go ahead and press the thumbs up button and like the video. If you're new here and not subscribed, you should go ahead and do so because we're dropping new content each and every day on the Gold Boys Network. We strive to cover every sport and give out picks and analysis and valuable information for free on the Gold Boys Network. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop something new. I'm Brad Thomas. Let's get back to the picks.
Our next one, the Chicago White Sox taking on the San Diego Padres. Garrett Crochet versus Joe Musgrove. I mean, it's going to be the Padres here. I'm not really sure how you want to go about it because they're minus 250 on the money line. And the White Sox, oddly enough, really don't strike out a ton, which is kind of annoying. I don't have a K line yet for Musgrove. I'll be curious to see what it is, but it'll be some sort of Joe Musgrove player performance double. I'm hoping that the K line's low enough to get a 5 Ks in the win because it might get a little bit of a discount here because the White Sox haven't been terrible in terms of Ks. But we'll see. Our next one, the New York Yankees taking on the Oakland Athletics. Garrett Cole versus JT Ginn. I like the Yankees minus 1.5. I hate backing Garrett Cole, but I just think this Oakland team is just in full fade mode. They're obviously they're not playing for anything anymore. This team's kind of just fallen off the face of the earth, it feels like. And this just feels like a spot where Cole can just go dominate a lineup. So I like Garrett Cole here. Oakland in a tough travel spot too. They fly back from Chicago. I mean, obviously they're playing a late start, but still fly back from Chicago. It's an awkward travel spot for sure. Give me the Yankees -1.5 here. The last one on our slate, the Colorado Rockies taking on the Dodgers. Kyle Freeland and the Dodgers, no starter. So I am going to TBA this one. When I have a play, I will post it. But that does conclude our slate. If you guys do me a favor, drop a like, drop a comment, let me know what you guys are playing. I will give you guys my 3 best bets before we hop off of here. So the first one's going to be the Blue Jays on the money line. Second one's going to be the Pirates on the money line. And the third one is going to be the under in the Tigers-Orioles game. As always, you can get all of my official plays at goldboys.com. If you have a gambling problem, dial 1-800-GAMBLER. Thank you, guys.